I'm calling to order this January 8, 2019 Town Council meeting to order. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is changes to the agenda. Does anyone want to make a change to the agenda? No changes. Next item is council comments. Councilor Ray, you're first on the list today.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I want to say something about a meeting that I attended here last week on behalf of the Green County Commissioners and the people that were here. That meeting, by some certain people, they were very, very rude. Very rude. They were very outspoken, and before the meeting started, Billings told them to please keep our negative comments to ourselves. And they didn't do that. And I thought that was very rude. And in today's society, we are cutthroating everybody. We cutthroat each other. Why? I don't know. Is this what we're teaching our kids how to act? We as adults, including all of us adults, we shouldn't be doing that stuff. Kids need to be kids, and adults need to be adults. But if there was just a certain amount of people, a very small amount, that were very, very vocal, and I thought they were being very disrespectful to the public. They have some good candidates, don't get me wrong. They have some very good candidates. But of all the candidates I heard talk, I only heard two of them say something in regards to veterans issues and to elderly people issues. And that was Mr. Armando Arzola and Mr. Gabriel Ramos. And that is one thing that we should, being as town council people and being as elderly people, we should be doing something for the elderly people, because we are being pushed aside, whether we like to see it or not, but we are slowly being pushed aside in a lot of different ways. Now, I wrote a letter to the editor, to Mr. Nick Seibel, before the general elections were done. And I talked about why I said not to vote no for the school bond issues. Even though they do not raise the taxes on the people, they don't, on the elderly people. It's a redundant of taxes. I had this conversation with Dr. Shepard because he called me, and I went to talk to him, and I told him why I voted no for it, why I was telling people not to vote no for it. We are too focused on higher education. Why are we focused on higher education? All these kids that go to school nowadays, they take grants after grants after grants. Before you know it, they cannot pay the grants. So who does the bill fall to? The property owners. Now, maybe there could be something in upstate New Mexico to where the elderly people, because there's a lot of elderly people, both Spanish and Anglos, that have properties. Maybe they could make an amendment to the property tax and saying that you have been paying taxes all your life, maybe we'll just charge you 15%, 20%, half of what you're paying. Don't you think that these people need that money, that $1 back? The elderly people? And now for higher education, like for the schools and all that, okay, I understand that all your buildings deteriorate. Everybody's buildings deteriorate. Don't you think that the elderly people, the property owners, their buildings also deteriorate? They count on that $1? If higher education is that important, why not have trade schools? A trade school, you're going to get what you apply for. You're going to study that and only that. In higher education, you're going to take classes in school that you're never going to utilize in your lifetime. And it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to get educated. Early childhood. I don't believe in early childhood. Parents need to be parents. The kids need to be kids. I'm old school, and I'll always be old school. There is no reason why a parent has to send their kid to school at 3 years or 4 years. There's no reason for that. Teachers are not babysitters. They're not. And I told Mr. Saibo that I knew he would not print my letter. And apparently it disappeared. It got lost. But it's okay. One more thing, and this is from Abe Lincoln, from 1862. We must disenfranchisefy ourselves, and then we shall save our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Amon Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to start off by wishing everyone here a happy new year, and just say that in 2019, as a member of this legislative body, I am really looking forward to continuing to work with citizens, with town staff, with my fellow elected officials, and with a variety of volunteers and nonprofit organizations that all work together to make our community healthier, safer, and to increase our quality of life and the vibrancy that we experience here. So I just want to wish you all a Happy New Year and say I look forward to spending it with you.
Thank you. Councilor Beston.
Thank you, Mayor. I also would like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. It started off with a bang with the new administration in Santa Fe and with a lot going on. And I, too, look forward to working with everyone in the upcoming year, with all of the folks in town, the residents that are always provide some interesting suggestions for things that we need to look at and to consider. I also wanted to let folks know that there appears to be, according to a nice article on one of our local papers, the Silver City Daily Press, by C.P. Thompson, that they're still accepting applications for the senior affordable living facility up at the Mountain View Senior Apartments. And they anticipate it being done by June. And I would just say it's for 69 units for seniors ages 62 years and older, that they have a billboard outside where the building is being built that lists the phone number and the contact information if you would like to put in an application to live there. This is going to be, I think this is something that is really wonderful that our town and our council have done in order to provide an optional affordable living for seniors. This is really something that I'm really looking forward to, and everyone's been so excited about it, and I just wish everyone that's applied good luck, because the rent rates are actually fairly good and based on your income. I mean, it's really lower than the rest of what you would potentially have to pay for almost 1,000 foot if you get a 2-bedroom apartment. The highest end is still under what you would have to pay somewhere else in town. So just if you're interested in it, I don't have the phone number off the top of my head and I can't find it in the article. I'm sure it's in there, but there is a nice billboard, and you can always talk with the Community Development Department, Town of Silver City. This is a project that we worked with Bethel on, and so it's very exciting. So it's a great way to start the new year, knowing that is it'll be completed by mid-year, and people will be able to move in. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Kano.
Thank you, Mayor. I too would echo Happy New Year to everyone. I spent the New Year in Santa Fe as part of the inauguration ceremony. I was a guest of Lieutenant Governor Morales. It sounds very nice to say Lieutenant Governor Morales, I might say. It was a really interesting experience to see all of that goes into inaugurating a new governor and lieutenant governor. They take their oath of office right after midnight in a private ceremony, and then they have a whole day's worth of activities for the public, from a mass to I had a brunch with the legislature. They had the public swearing in, several balls. It was quite an interesting experience, and it's a huge thing for Silver City to be the home of the lieutenant governor. For a lot of people who didn't know where Silver City was, but were interested in coming here now to see how he's from. So congratulations to him, and also to Stephanie Garcia-Richard, who is a local, who is now, she's from here. She left after high school, but she's now the land commissioner. So it's great to see her in office as well. For anyone who calls the city hall, what's it called? If you call and you leave us a message, if you could please leave your name and phone number. I know that sounds like silly to be saying that, but I don't know if anyone else had the same conversation, but someone called me and told me how rude I was for not calling them back. Well, if I don't know who you are or what your phone number is, it's kind of hard to do that. So if you could please remember to leave a name and phone number, it's easier for us to call you back. And the last thing is, so the National Senior Olympics is going to be held in Albuquerque this summer for 2019. And part of that whole celebration is a torch run. They do a torch run just like the regular Olympics do. And the kickoff for the torch run is actually going to take place in Silver City. And the reason it's taking place in Silver City is because the Copper Country Senior Olympics have been chosen as the most successful Senior Olympics program in New Mexico. And the torch run kickoff is going to happen this Saturday at 11 o'clock at Golf Park. So if anyone is interested in joining with the Senior Olympians as they kick off this celebration, you're welcome to come. There'll be refreshments and entertainment, and it'll be a good day for the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Councilor Ray?
Thank you. I also forgot to say Happy New Year to all, and let's try and be civilized. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of minutes of the December 11, 2018 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Amon Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of the town of Silver City of December 11th, 2018.
Is there a second? Councilor Basin?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public input, and I see that one person has signed up, Al Gamboa. Would you? And you might want to turn the microphone on when you...
Check. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Al Gamboa, as the mayor stated. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and folks of the council and city staff for the opportunity to speak up. The subject I chose to come up and speak on, as we know, we recently lost two members of our community. And the big elephant in the county happens to be Highway 180. And it is the main thoroughfare out of here, though we have secondary roads in and out, but the main thrust of it is in and out through Deming. We recently lost Memorial Gate, a childhood neighbor and friend, and because of that, because of that loss, I've decided this is an issue that does have to take foremost interest in our community and our county. Apparently the funds at one time were allocated for the widening of the road from a 2-lane to a 4-lane under Governor Richardson. Funds were apparently put into operation, and then through the entry of the next governor after that, funds were pulled by Santa Fe. A little debt, issue of debt that we didn't support that particular governor at that time, so funds were retracted, and therefore we happen to have continued a loss of life in this community because of the 2-lane. It's definitely not the highway's fault, we know that. It's driver error that creates all these issues. And the chief, being a law enforcement, he deals with a lot of this, county and state. They can definitely come up, I'm sure, with the statistics. We've all have lost somebody. somebody within the family, or close relationships, friends. I know people who have lost entire families on that roadway. The time has come. We need to stand up as a community. We're a forgotten part of the state. We are remote, we're isolated, we're not on the way to pretty much anywhere. If you're coming here for a purpose. It should not be dangerous to come in or go out of our community here. I've been doing it since I was a child. We all have, at one point or another, since we became residents of this county. And we need to finally stand up to Santa Fe, as now that we, as the council lady stated, we have locals involved in Santa Fe. We need to demand action on this. Hopefully everybody agrees. I do plan on taking this on as a mission. And we may not put an end to fatalities, but if we decrease them, we definitely can. I know it was done on the Las Cruces Anthony Height 110 corridor, which is already a 4-lane. Simple addition of one more lane practically annihilated the fatality issue. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Al.
And Happy New Year.
Next item on the agenda is reports. First report will be by Sissy McAndrew, who's president of the Silver City Regional Association of Realtors, and she will make a real estate market report.
Okay, thank you very much. Happy New Year to everybody. And I know you did receive reports in your mailbox or via email or somehow or other, thanks to Ann Mackey. But we've had a very good year, and this year for me personally was the best year I've ever had. We, of course, are actually fairly close in our numbers this year compared to last year. We were up just slightly as far as about $12,000 as far as the average list price of our homes. One thing that we're very happy about, I know in the past I've talked to you about the peak was in 05 and 06, and then of course we saw things go down, and we've been fighting to come back up on the values of our properties. What's great is we are starting to get the appraisals in very close to the list price. We're at about 95% between the list price and the sale price of our property. We had basically the days on the market has reduced. This year we are about 119 days on the market. Last year was 199. And one thing I think that hopefully, I know you all have your neighborhoods and you go downtown, but you're starting to see some of the buildings that have been empty for a long time are starting to get filled. And this is really, we're feeling vitality downtown. We've got people that are intentionally coming to our community. They're coming with cash and very interested, knowing they're going to have to fix things up. Our housing stock, a lot of it is existing housing. We've not had speculative building. New construction is normally custom-built homes. So when people come here, they know that they're going to have to not only purchase the property, but make improvements. And we've got contractors that are meeting those needs. One thing that I'm really excited about is with the Silver Schools, and what they're looking at is trying to have a parallel education path, so they've got those that are college bound and those that are going to go into the trades. We've had some real challenges this last year with plumbers, and it's been a family situation of where the son was working for the father, didn't get all of the licensures that they need, and now, lo and behold, the son can do standard plumbing but can't work with natural gas. Things of this nature where we're really struggling. And for businesses that have property management, you kind of weed out those that are, you call up that don't show up, or that suddenly can't do the job or don't have the equipment. But this is something that we need to address as a community, so that as people come here, we can make sure that we've got the professionals to help upgrade these structures. The other thing that we have really, I'm really happy about is when we look at the number of commercial sales. Last year we had 8 in town. This year we had 11. And when we look at land, of course, we have very little infill left in town itself. Last year, we sold 4 pieces of land, and this year, 6. So we're starting to see to where we're starting to get a better spread on the market as far as properties that are selling. Some of these are people that realize they can't find the home they've dreamed of, so they're going to build it. But some of it is also where we've got structures that are now actually getting torn down, and we see people that are going to be building in those neighborhoods. Another issue I spoke about a couple weeks ago on the radio is tiny homes. And we have our first tiny home here in town that has been approved. The Community Development Office is using the state standard and working with construction industries as far as guidelines. I think this is going to help us out quite a bit. As far as there's a lot of folks that are looking at wanting to put a second structure on their property, which the town does allow as long as they live in one of those structures. And I think we'll see a little bit more of that going on, but it seems to be working very smoothly right now, working with the state on getting the inspections and keeping construction moving forward. We also are getting more realtors. People are hearing it's a good business. With the market going up, we're getting more interest, and we're getting millennials. Yep, us old people are starting, we're getting a few retirees, but it's also hard to retire when what you've always worked for is coming back and becoming a very good profession again. But you're going to see new names, you're going to see young people, and we are trying to make sure not only that they pass their state tests, but that we can mentor them through this process, because we have a lot of unique real estate needs here. We get into wells, we get into septic systems. It takes a lot of additional training, more than just the book. As far as when people get here, they are appreciating our community, they're appreciating our culture, and I'd like to stress this to folks that the newcomers that actually end up getting here, our community kind of weeds them out. So they're coming here, they're spending time here, they're finding out if this is something that's really right for them or not. Once they get here, once they get settled, they are spending money locally for furniture, for remodeling, of course for our tax base, and then they are volunteering in our community and they are participating in the community. These are active folks that are moving to town. That's exciting. When people leave, it still tends to be because of a health issue, or lo and behold, they want to go be by the grandkids. But it's not something that they don't like our community, or they're finding fault with our community. The people that we get in the door that are talking that way, we really try to help guide them down the road so they won't be disappointed. We are who we are. We're proud of it, and as an industry, we feel like we've got a really positive future. We're not seeing trending anymore. When's the busy time of the year? It's pretty much year-round now. So we're feeling really good about that. We're feeling good about what's going on with tourism and marketing of the community, but once again, as I've mentioned to you, the number one benefit for us is our climate. And we've got people that are going out, and by the time they come here, they've been communicating with us on the internet. They've been looking at properties, narrowing down what they want to see. And the word out there across the country is Silver City is a great place to move to. Do I have any questions at all?
Councilor Amy Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Cynthia. You sound like you're really encouraged.
I am.
I always want to know, from where are these new migrants coming?
Well, again, in the old days, we would actually advertise. We had tourism dollars, and we also used some of that for relocation. And when we would go and advertise in a quadrant of the country, say down in the southeast, about 3 months later, we'd see a huge influx of people. That's not happening anymore. We have people right now. We still got quite a few people from Alaska that are coming down. We're getting people from the Plains states, and of course that we're hearing are just sick and tired of the cold. We have not had, now some people think that we're going to have an influx of people from, say, California after the fires and things of that nature. We don't really see an immediate response to that because people need to get insurance. So we're seeing folks in California. I personally have seen that slow down a little bit. That was kind of last year, we were getting a lot of Southern Californians. And when we get people from California, it's normally because of our affordability. They've had high-paying jobs, they've had expensive homes, but they realize when they go into retirement, they can't afford to live in California anymore. But we are still getting, of course, summers, we get more people from Arizona that want to move up out of the heat. But really, we're getting folks from all over. And again, it's our quality of life that really tends to be attracting them.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. It's been a real pleasure, and as of Friday night, I will be the former acting president, and we will have L.J. Lundy coming in as our new president. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, you have some items?
Yeah, do you have things on the uncovered loads?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to make the public aware that Officer Manny Howden is back into his assignment as Code Enforcement Community Resource Officer. He was out there for a while because of manpower issues. He's back. He's been in that position for about a week. One of the things that he's going to be focusing on is the unsecured, uncovered loads. I do want to remind the public that it's not just about covering your loads, but be mindful to secure them, because they can be covered, but there's still some debris that can be coming out from the bed of your pickup truck or your trailer. So again, I want to remind the community, not just cover it, make sure it's secure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir. I wanted to talk a little bit about lodger's tax. You know, we went with the marketing firm this year, and for the first 2 months of the fiscal year, we really didn't have, we had the former organization doing what marketing they could, and then the remaining, 4 or 5 months, it's been the current marketing firm working on it. Well, we started out the first 2 months with around a 20% decrease from last year in lodger's tax revenues. But over the last, as of the last, until the end of December, we are currently at 21% above projections. So we've completely done a 180, and things are like I said last year was the highest year we had ever the most revenue we'd ever generated from lodger's tax, and right now we're on pace to beat that, to blow that out of the water. So it's very positive. So I just wanted to let you know that. So we've seen some positive results from some of the changes that we've made. Also, the police chief, the process has been underway. We've been accepting applications since December. We'll be accepting them through the middle of January. Then we'll give a month to an interview committee that I'm putting together right now to review the applications. They'll start doing some of the interviews, and they'll narrow the pool down to a couple of finalists, the best finalists, and then I'd like to have a small community event to meet them, and then that way I can get input from both the interview committee, the public, and then I'm going to do my own individual interviews when I'm done there. But we're planning to hopefully have everything finalized either by the end of February or the middle of March for that process. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Councilor Khan?
I have a question about the firm that's doing the advertising now. I saw that they're coming to speak to the Chamber of Commerce about what it is they've decided and what they're doing, but they haven't come to see us. So when are we going to see what they're doing?
I believe in the contract we had them coming to visit. Well, they came once initially.
Yeah, and
but they're supposed to, and that was just the introduction. But I can have them come in, well, after the session would probably be the most appropriate. So we'll try to get something set up for after the session and make sure that you guys could get a good report on what's been going on.
Any other questions? Ms. Mackey, I think you have a report.
Yes, I wanted to let you know that today was filing day for the counselor positions in District 1 and District 3. We have 3 certified candidates as of today. For District 1 counselor, the certified candidate is Cynthia Ann Bedison. For District 3 counselor, the certified candidates are Jose A. Ray Jr. and Nicholas H. Prince. Next Tuesday is another day where people can file as a write-in candidate. So, do you have any questions about the election?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Brown?
No, sir.
Okay. Next item is new business. Under new business 11A, we have the approval/disapproval of resolution number 2019-01, open meetings. And you have the annual resolution.
Yes, this is our annual open meetings resolution. It's the same as years past. It gives information about our meeting dates for the town council meetings, where they can find the agenda on the town's website and at City Hall, that we give notice 72 hours before a meeting to the public, and it's just the basic information that's provided each year about special meetings, emergency meetings, and such. And like I said, it does list the council meeting dates for 2019. I'm asking for your approval.
Any comments? Councilor Smith?
I just want to say that I think that all of us here on the council, and perhaps everyone in the room, has attended the sessions that are educational sessions about how important the Open Meetings Act are, and that this council abides by that strictly, and that this resolution states our intention to do so for 2019.
Thank you. Any other comments? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 2019-01, open meetings.
Is there a second? Councilor Edison?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to second the motion as stated.
Thank you.
Did have to do it.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Edison?
Aye.
Councilor Amon Smith?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Kano?
Motion carries unanimously. Next item is 11B, the approval/disapproval of resolution number 2019-02, a resolution committing the town of Silver City to the implementation of an asset management plan. Alex, you have the details of this?
Yes, sir. Mayor and Council, this is a new requirement from the Colonias Initiative funding source. The board just adopted the requirement to require asset management plans from all the communities that, as a requirement to apply. But they're giving us 3 years to implement the asset management plan, and this gives an example of what they would like in the asset management plan. It's a little bit difficult because they started off by using an example of an asset management plan and process that is required by the Water Trust Board, which applies solely to water and wastewater infrastructure. So I'm sure over time it's going to have to be refined a little bit more to fit all of the different funding opportunities that are eligible under the the finance infrastructure. For instance, this year, our applications were both, one for wastewater, which would fall under this, and the other is Ridge Road, and which is a street which really doesn't comply, I mean, wouldn't fit under this specific work model that they've been working with. So I'm sure that it'll be changing, but we're a little bit ahead of the game because we've already implemented the paving master plan, which has all the ages, life cycles, where we have sidewalks, streets, where we have sidewalks, the conditions of the different streets. And so it helps us set priorities for construction and maintenance. And that's the intent of an asset management plan, construction, maintenance, replacement. And that would, this asset management plan, when it gets into the water, it's going to be a little bit difficult to work on the water lines, seeing as that we've been installing water lines since 1876. So, and some of those are actually being used still. That will take a little bit of time, but we will be working on it. And basically all this says is that we're going to be working towards that direction. I will set up a committee of internally of different employees. Particularly, I'm probably going to focus with individuals from Public Works because they know the street side of it, and utilities because of the water, sewer, and stuff like that, and then finance and stuff like that, because all those people that are involved, it would be necessary for them to be involved. We recently did an asset management plan for the Solid Waste Authority. The authority's probably got a budget smaller than our sanitation department, and that costed $35,000 just to do that little one. So there are going to be some cost factors that are going to be involved here, but we will work towards getting something in place. And with that, do you have any questions?
Any questions? Any questions or comments from the general public on this? Yes, sir. Would you come up to the podium, please?
How you doing? I am here tonight as one of the members of the BAG group who are hoping to try and put people into meetings that we need to be at to sort of hear things happening. My question would be with regard to streets and roadways. I mean, first of all, thank you for the work that you're doing with certain bike lanes being designated on certain streets. But as far as that plan going forward, does that include whether or not you're going to put bike lanes into current infrastructure?
Yes. For the last probably 15 years, we've been working towards that direction, is working on every street that we're going to do complete construction on, is try to make it a completely multimodal, I think that's the words that they use it, so it's a complete street. Basically, it's compatible for vehicles, bikes, pedestrians, the whole gambit. For instance, one that we've talked about in the last council meeting is Little Walnut. That's actually mostly designed already, and it's got all of that. But there's going to be cases where there's limitations because of the right-of-way that we have available to us. But we're always going to look to try to do everything we can to make sure it's as a complete street as possible.
Great. Yeah, and thanks for 15 minutes.
Thank you for that.
All right.
And Mr. Brown, thank you.
Yes. The gentleman to identify himself.
Yes, I'm sorry. Would you identify yourself, please?
Martin Pearson from the Eagle Hiking Bike and part of the bicycle advocacy group.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion? Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 2019-02, a resolution committing the town of Silver City to the implementation of an asset management plan.
Is there a second? Councilor Kano?
I'll second that motion as stated.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Kano?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Amos Smith? Aye. Councilor Bass?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item is 11C, the approval/disapproval of election workers for the regular municipal election scheduled for March 5, 2019. Ms. Mackey?
Yes, I'm requesting your approval of the election workers that you have before you. Many of those, of course, have had previous experience, and many are new. So we'll have an election school probably the week before Election Day. That date has not been set.
Any questions, comments? Do I hear a motion? Councilor Kano?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve of election workers for the regular municipal election scheduled for March 5th, 2019.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Councilor Ray?
Mr. Mayor, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I second that motion as read.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item is 11D, the approval/disapproval of executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1H7, for meetings subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the public body is or may become a participant. Do I hear a motion? Councilor Madison?
Thank you, Mayor. I move for the council to go into executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1H7 of the state's Open Meetings Act to meet subject to attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which a public body is or may become a participant.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Amos Smith?
second that motion as stated.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Medicine?
Aye.
Councilor Amos Smith? Aye. Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Kano?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The council will convene in the conference room. If anyone needs a restroom break, we'll be waiting for you in there. The council is back in session. No matters other than those matters included in the motion to go into executive session were discussed. At this time, I will ask the council members for their affirmation of that statement. Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Medicine?
Aye.
Councilor Amos Smith? Aye. Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Kano?
Aye.
All council members replied yes. This concludes the business of the town of Silver City. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Amos
I
Smith?
move to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilor Ray?
Thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. This meeting is adjourned.